I mentioned the FDR Second Bill of Rights, and Tom Hawken basically blew it off, and, we kind of got into a discussion of the minutia of his candidate for governor, or candidacy and his platform. But I believe that Franklin Roosevelt's Second Bill of Rights is actually really important and needs to be added to the Constitution. Now, keep in mind, a right is something that government has to put into place legislation to either protect or implement. Right? If you have a right to a job, then Congress has to pass legislation that says, okay, this person doesn't have a job, can't find a job, there are no jobs, so we will hire him. So let's just go through some of these. This is clip number 1. This is FDR just basically setting up the concept, and this was in the year before he died. He didn't, tragically, he didn't live long enough to really, really push this hard. But I think this was a really important point. Here's his setup. Clip 1.
In our day, certain economic proofs have become accepted as self-evident. A second Bill of Rights, under which a new basis of security and prosperity can be established for all, regardless of station or race or creed.
Now, notice he said, in our day, these things have become accepted. Back in the 30s, this is Frank Lautenberg just died. Frank Lautenberg was a kid when Franklin Roosevelt was saying this. He was a teenager, and he got it. People of that generation who are dying off now, tragically. We don't have that wisdom, that knowledge with us anymore. But back then, every American understood that the role of government was, and Franklin Roosevelt made it the role of government, was to guarantee certain rights. And here are some of those rights. This is the right to a job and a fair wage.
Among these are the right to a useful and remunerative job, the right to earn enough to provide adequate food and clothing and recreation.
Remunerative. Yes, I love those. People used to actually use big words. Remunerative is a fancy way of saying good paying job. And, enough to actually live on. That should be a right, not a privilege. A right. He also said that businesses should be free from monopoly. Now, again, look in any city in America, any shopping mall, anywhere you go. And what do you see? Small businesses? Not so much. Maybe occasionally in small-town Vermont, but that's about it. What you see is monopoly or duopoly or triopoly, but, it's functionally all monopoly. And so Roosevelt said, no, we need to be free from this. We, the individual human beings, have a right, and our small business owners have a right to be free from monopoly. Here he is, clip 4.
The right of every businessman, large and small, to trade in an atmosphere of freedom, freedom from unfair competition and domination by monopolies at home or abroad.
Yeah, there you go. This is pretty simple stuff. Now, for some reason, Reagan thought, nah, that's, we'll just do the opposite of that, and literally did. But can you imagine, this was the President of the United States saying that this is what it takes to make a free nation, is that free people have these rights. And by the way, to the best of my knowledge, every one of these rights is considered a right in virtually every country in Europe. And most of the fully developed countries of the world, Australia, Canada. He said that you should have a right to a place to live and to decent health care. A right. Not the privilege, hey, you get to live on the street. No. A right to home and health care. Here he is.
The right of every family to a decent home. The right to adequate medical care and the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health.
And Roosevelt actually made the former happen. I mean, he backstopped mortgages. There's a massive mortgage failure disaster going on in 1932 when he came into office because they'd been selling all these 5-year. The standard mortgage in the 20s during the Republican administrations of Harding, Coolidge, and Hoover from 1920 to 1932, the standard mortgage was a 5-year mortgage with a balloon at the end. But housing prices have been going up so fast from 1920 to 29, it was a bubble. The people would do that. They'd buy it. They'd have the 5-year balloon, and then when the balloon got hit, they'd just roll it over. But all of a sudden, after the crash of 29, you couldn't roll it over. So all these people who were stuck with these mortgages. So FDR created a federal agency that bought these 5-year mortgages and turned them into 30-year fixed-rate, low-interest mortgages guaranteed by the federal government. That program wound itself up in the 60s or 70s and actually showed a profit to the government. In addition to saving homeowners, he didn't bail out banksters. He bailed out homeowners. And with regard to health care, well, there were efforts made back then. There was conversations about national single-payer health care. How do we do this? The biggest thing, I think, is that hospitals had to be, and health insurance companies had to be not-for-profit in virtually every state in the country.